I'm here to talk briefly about dogs management, especially health management of dogs. I'm Vet Sam from Machakos, located within Kithini. It is a great opportunity for me to share some insights of what I love doing so much. Throughout my life, since I was a young boy, I really admired to be in the field of medicine. And I was very clear that I would like either to specialize either with animals or with human beings. But as I was growing up, I saw a very big gap when it comes to veterinary officers. Like for example, in my region where I come from, we used really to struggle so much to get a vet, which really costed us a number of livestock. And sometimes it was not really a very encouraging thing. And I thought if I will major in that area, to me, one, it will be a dream come true, but again, an opportunity to serve my community. And actually my greatest motivation is commitment to serve my community. Now when it comes to dogs, which is one of my passionate area, I've observed almost 99% of homesteads have dogs, keeping them for various reasons. Some of course, especially from the local community, they keep them for security purposes, doing the indigenous breeds. But also we have those who prefer to do it as pets, because of course we have the pet breeds. But again, quite a number of people have seen them turn it to business, and therefore doing dog breeding, which of course I've really noted is one of the areas which one can really make money. And looking at all that, I thought I will be a solution to all those people, whether they are keeping for pet or for security purposes or for the dog breeders. I will be a solution to them. And it has really been a great opportunity for me to work with them and to serve them. And when I hear the results of the progress, it always gives me a lot of joy. I'm so delighted to be with me here, Fluffy, who is a pet. Now, let me say something briefly about health management of dogs, because this is where vaccination comes in. There are three main reasons as to why we need to keep any other animal healthy. Number one reason is to ensure that we reduce the cost of management. You realize once a dog gets sick or any other animal, there is the cost implication. But there is a way you can reduce that cost if you can manage the health of that animal. But again, number two, you might suffer loss of that animal if it's not handled well in terms of health management of that particular animal. But again, number three, you will suffer the loss of, if you are you wanted a pet, then you lose the pet. See, to you that is a negative. But again, it has costed you for you to acquire that. And therefore that tells you it's very important to ensure that your animals, and especially now for our case here, dogs, are managed well in terms of their health. Now, when it comes to health management, there are two ways you can handle that. Number one, it's through controlling. See, it is said that prevention is better than cure. When it comes now to controlling is where vaccination comes in. That's why we always say you don't vaccinate an animal or a dog which is sick. You vaccinate them when they are already healthy. And you see, once you have prevented that disease, now you will not suffer the loss in case of invasion by that particular disease. Now in dogs, we have three very, very important and significant vaccines. And another thing which I must underline, you realize we have some diseases which not only affect the dogs, but they can be transmitted even to human beings. And now that becomes a public health issue. The way to address that is vaccination. Now when it comes to dogs, for puppies, the first vaccine which is very important, what we call the parvo, it should be done at week 6. Now, at that particular time, it is so important because your puppy is susceptible to quite a number of infections, and the worst of it is parvo. Now, that is the particular time you realize your dog might start refusing to take food. It tells you there is a threat. To ensure you curb that, basically you do what we call a parvo, that is a vaccination of parvo. That is the very first vaccination of a dog. This parvo should be repeated after 3 weeks. Now, after 3 weeks, now that will be around week 9. If you did parvo 1 at week 6, at week 9, you do parvo 2. Now, at week 9, a number of diseases can take advantage of your dog. And therefore, at that particular time, mostly we do a comprehensive vaccination, what we call now the DHLP. The last P stands for parvo. So parvo will also be included in that particular vaccine. Now, when you have done that, you have ensured that your dog is free from a very dangerous disease we call diastemper, a very dangerous disease we call the hepatitis in dogs, a very dangerous disease we call the leptospirosis, again in dogs, and also the parvo virus issue. So the second vaccination when it comes to dogs, very fundamental now, will be a comprehensive one, the DHLP. The third vaccination, which is very, very, again, significant and important, now this is to address the public health issue, what we call now rabies. See, rabies is a disease which affects both animals and human beings. And that's why even the government, many of the time, actually almost every year, you see the government sending vets to the villages to do rabies vaccination, because it's a disease of really great economic importance. So that vaccine is rabies, and rabies is given at the 12th week. At week 12, now your puppy is due for rabies. Now, if you do those 3, you are safe with your dogs. And you are certain that there is no life-threatening disease which can attack your dog, and you are safe. Majority of them, and actually again all of them, you will be now repeating after 1 year. And this is assuming that the rest of the managing practices are kept constant. Things like hygiene are constant, you are feeding them well with the correct feeds. If that is adhered to, and then you have done the 3 vaccination schedules, then your dogs are good to go. I need to really emphasize this issue of vaccination, and I've mentioned sometimes back about the issue of rabies. Rabies is one of the fundamental annual vaccination which needs to be done within, or rather across all the dogs. And this is because the viruses which causes a dog is a carrier of such viruses, and therefore they can be transmitted from the dog to a human being, and it's a deadly disease. And actually, for one who has been affected by the very disease, they start behaving like a dog, they become very aggressive, and they end up even dying. And therefore, it's really an important disease to emphasize. Now, in the event that this dog, tiger or any other dog, now it's from a farmer or from a farm where the vaccination is already not done, or it was done, it is already due and it's yet to be done, immediately it bites you, that case needs to be reported to the hospital, because they need to do a test. And one of the dangerous things about rabies, the signs might not show immediately. It can take even 5 or even 10 years, then now the signs start manifesting in human beings. And therefore, immediately the dog bites you or scratches you, and there is blood which has oozed from you as a person or whoever it has bitten, they need to go for a medical checkup immediately, so that at least some samples can be taken from them, but again so that they can undergo the necessary injection, because there are preventive injections from the hospital. See that? And therefore it's really important. But again, number 2, it's important for you to pursue to get a clear assurance whether that dog, in case now you don't know, you are not sure, it's good to go and get the records from the dog owner to get to know whether that dog was vaccinated or not. But I emphasize, in the event that the dog was not vaccinated, medical attention should be sought with immediate effect. A dog like GSD, they are known for security, and the moment they are out there, they are a threat to security because some of them even feed on people's livestock, and therefore most of the farmers, this basic response is to look for a way to kill that dog. And one of the things as vet we advise people who are keepers of such kind of serious dogs, or basically any other dog, there are basic trainings which can be done on dogs. And one thing I've liked from the Ranchers Kennels, they offer facilities like trainings of dogs. You see, once a dog undergoes the basic trainings, it becomes a good thing for that dog and for the owner of the dog, because it will not be attacking livestock or even animals, people anyhowly. And therefore, to some extent, it becomes a friendly kind of an animal, rather a dog. And to that is a plus. So I would really advise dog keepers to invest in dog training. They are just basic trainings which are done at very cheap and low prices. But again, it pays a lot with dividends once your dogs are trained. But again, it's of great importance to ensure that and we have been telling about dogs farmers about the issue of having a good house for your dogs, at least having a good place for your dogs, and also your area being fenced enough to ensure that your dogs are not just going out anyhowly. It is of great importance. We have the issue of parasites, both internal and external parasites. They are the simplest things to control, but they have, actually statistics have shown, most of the farmers suffer loss resulting from internal and external parasites. For internal parasites, basically we do deworming, which we advise it to be done at least after every 3 months. And we have cheap dewormers in the market which we sell to farmers from the agrovets, which are accessible. Of course, some of them are injectable, which requires a vet, but also we have others which are given orally. So control of internal parasites is very important through deworming, which we always advise at least to be done after every 3 months. But again, we have the issue of the external parasites, which have become another threat to dog farmers. The issue of ticks, the issue of fleas, the issue of midges, and so on and so forth. And therefore, we advise dog farmers to invest in washing their dogs. One, with acaricides. We have so many acaricides, some of them very cheap. As cheap as 100 shillings, you can get an acaricide which can be used to wash your dogs. They really help in controlling of these external parasites. But of course, also we have the shampoos which are used to wash the dogs. If you are able as a farmer to control parasites, both internal and external, which are very easy to do, and you try as much as possible to be consistent in doing this, then this venture will be a very smooth venture for you. And I think this has been one of the success I've noted from the kennel ranchers when it comes to management of their dogs. And in case you need to learn more about those basic practices, you can visit them and see how they do it. Yeah, thank you so much.